Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. This is Pxy-STREAM, and today, well, this is not Xi verse, this is Pxy-STREAM. This is for let's find something of interest to discuss or to present, for me to present to you in Blender. And today's topic, maybe this will not be very long because it's still an early stage investigation. What's happened to my, well, that should be appearing for you, lag, connection lag, I guess. No, there's an error. Let's see where this error, are you, not sure if you can listen, if you can pop up any message in the chat. I'll be thankful if there's anyone watching. Some error occurred. Probably have to refresh a window here. It should be running. Yes, sorry folks, this is okay. Now we're back. Now this is working. Okay, so there is this idea of using Rigify in a customized way. This idea, well, we all know, or should know, who is the the most famous tutorial maker of Rigify stuff, that is CG Dive, right? YouTube channel, right? But there is one thing that I believe he doesn't have a course about, and I think it's the most interesting thing about Rigify, for my point of view, perhaps for you as well. So with all his knowledge of Rigify, I wonder why he hasn't dived himself right in the scripting, because actually it's not that hard to script for like creating bone in an armature, and then you position the bone like and all that. I've started diving into these settings, and let me show you some documentation that I've been gathering on my own. Okay, first you might know that I have this Blender guide, Blender rigging guide, rigging network guide. That's a guide that is public. I've just published this, a shared Google Doc. Okay, you need a Google account to access this, but otherwise there is in my Gumroad, there is also a PDF version, but that is stiff, right? This one is dynamic because it's real time, so you know the stuff. But I had a plan to add scripting content here, and actually there is some place here for scripting. Where it is might be about the end here, but it's empty because there is nothing yet. At that time I know about zero about Python coding in Blender and programming. I had some very basic crude notions from older times, but no, I'm not savvy at that at all. But I get some points I get, right? It's not so hard to get a good introduction and then start to build your own stuff. I had some very few experience, but I never dived enough to learn, like say that, like, oh, I know how to sculpt, I know how to, no, I don't know how to program, but I know some of the basics of that, and some tricks, right? And of course it depends on the language in some aspect, but the programming is a logic. So once you understand how a computer thinks, like it's very dumb. Like you can teach, or not teach, but program, right? Think as the computer executes stuff, and the logics, of course, the codes, the systems, they are different, but they create sometimes their own properties, relations in functions, whatever. But there are limitations according to the systems we are using, of course. But I'm not here to explain this I can't explain properly, but the idea is that I was planning to learn scripting myself in Blender, like focus on this Python thing, because I know, well, I use Blender is cool, Python use Blender use Python, that's great. So let's learn some Python. basic stuff, at least to get me doing what I want to do, which is actually rigging. And Rigify use Python, and apparently we can, yes, create some rig types. If you're not familiar with rig types, there is yeah, CG diver. But here, yeah, this guy here. But in this tutorial he presents something about that interests me. He says here, well, this is 4 years ago, he mentions here the possibility of having a custom meta rig. So you add a new meta rig to the presets, so your own preset. So this is a bit tricky. There's even a add-on to make that. It's not tricky, it's actually simple, but the steps can be confusing. And maybe it has changed in Blender after 4 years from now in Rigify add-on, which along that time has been promoted to an extension. So the concept of extension was revamped, you know, Blender 4, I think. So since Blender 4.0, then here not only custom meta rig, it's something about some object or edit mode where you I hope you're seeing, yes, you are seeing here, yes. So there is some button of encode for Rigify. I don't know where's the point here, where it appears probably, and then there is Rigify samples. Yeah, not rig type, sorry, Rigify samples. And so we can also encode. Where is the button? Encode this, encode that, encode this, encode that. So the name of this is Blender How to Save Custom Meta Rigs for Rigify. Yeah. Now I need to find out this. Okay, let's augment the speed here.
Okay, I'll go to edit mode now, and let's say I also want a tail, so I'm going to extrude a bone from here and move it on the y-axis. I have to make sure that it's disconnected, so I'm going to press Alt P, disconnect, and then right click and subdivide it a couple times.
No, yes, where is the point?
Blender kind of has two main places where it keeps the atoms. At least that's
okay, so this I'm not sure if this is updated right now. Unfortunately, we just tried beforehand here. In Windows, I think I don't have Blender 4.4 installed, or it doesn't update, or it has changed, so I can't find the pathway the path.
In Windows, I'm not sure about Mac and Linux. So one place where Black 9.
So yeah, you know that, right? This is where the add-ons are, right?
And then there is a scripts folder and an add-ons folder. And Rigify is not there. You need to.
Yeah, so he says that, and indeed, maybe I'm gonna double check that, but
I always install Blender
then it's in the program files in case of Windows, you know, so C.
And I place Blender in a special folder that I have for it. So here Blender 2.90. If you install Blender from the Pxy file, then you should go to your C drive.
That is important because it is where Rigify add-on or extension holds the Python file for the meta rig, and we can export the Python. A new Python file for meta rig. Same for the samples. And for the rig types, this is what I'm gonna research right now in situ, in real time. So I have an idea, because there is a way to access, you know, right, access every function of or operator or whatever. There are many things we can, if you have some, right, this edit source. So here we can access the script for the whatever thing, like for example, let's say this connected property, edit source, it has a BPI Blender, sorry, connected or edit source. So here there's these tooltips for development. In Blender we need to activate the preference. This is not the topic here, but okay, edits UI source code of the active button. Yeah, this is what this edit source does. So source code is the text, in text editor, the Python file probably. So there's a Python file specific for this operator, and so edit source. And so let's see, BPY, this is Blender Python module. Inside the Blender Python module dot, right inside it, lower hierarchy, dependent on it, there's ops, which is for operators. So there is an operator inside Blender Python module, which is contains the UI which I don't know what it is. It's another, not a class, but it's another subcategory of, it's an operator, it's a type of operator. So UI type of operator, edit source operator. So the edit source, how do you see the parenthesis indicates, so far as I understand, this is an actual operator. So it's an operator inside UI, inside operators, okay? Yeah, so UI is the operator type. So I never seen those before. I've seen a few others like props, I think. I don't remember by heart right now, but okay, so we did its source. There we go. So we got here some properties of data bound. So this this operator here, which is of the kind of a, it's a boolean one because it's toggle on off, right, binary thing. So of that kind, right? So boolean, I think boolean. Then it got, so it might be the source code for this is this thing, and properties data bound. So it's a whole thing here, and this probably, this Python thing might be, yeah, I don't know if this is just the name of the Python file or this thing is a piece of code also for right, possibly is a piece of code that is inside something like this BPI prop. So let's see here. It will be a bit hard to find stuff here. Let's do a Control F and find connected. Let's see if I not find nothing. So connect. No, we'll find something. So here we got something. So all this stuff is actually found inside this. All this little stuff is not a single piece of code. No, it's a whole thing that probably holds a lot of properties data bound. Lot of data bound properties data. And so here we have a connecting sub active equals creating a, yeah, so not so this is a variable, yes, this is a reference to, no, not sure because I don't know the other things here, so don't know the context of everything here. Context is also a, in Blender BPI, Blender Python module, context is also a, here we see context. Context is also very important. It's a key word that corresponds to actual sort of not an operator maybe, but some kind of not class too, I think, some, I don't know the definition, the correct definition, but it's a pathway to somewhere, to some other, and it indicates the state or the region or many things it can indicate. So it probably has inside context, there are types of context. So one type of context that I'm aware of is the context of the area which we are in. So we have the yeah, and here is context of object. I don't know what that is, but doesn't matter. So here we got this connect. Where is this? Yeah, connect. Let's push this here. Use how many? There should be a find, right? A find before, right? And for the shift. Oh, we can hold shift. No, we can't. So it doesn't. So there are 3 findings, I guess. Let's see. So what is this? Column. This is something about column, maybe. Yeah, this is a panel, building a panel. So here we got use connect. Okay, so I remember this from another tutorial if I was watching. We can use disconnect, I think. So this is the parenting, setting the parenting type for the bone, right? So not bone parent, bone parent. Yeah, this is a sort of an operator. Bone parent, never seen this used in those examples of tutorials in bone parent and bone use connect. So All right, so this is one finding. Then we got, yeah, so connect. Then you have subprop. Okay, so here is a property, and this sub, I don't know what it is, probably some subprop. So there's defining a property of bone. Here I don't know what this refers to, but use connect is that thing, right? So this will relate to the, okay, then let's continue. There should be another one. So yeah, so all this, of course, the structure of what connect means in Blender, this should be in some script, more obscure script. I think it will not be here. This is just the, like the, I believe these are like the basal code, right? No, not the basal, sorry, the how to say, the superficial code for all those things. So here we probably wouldn't be able to do a lot of things, right? I believe. But anyways, we can close this. I don't want to delete this, could be dangerous. So let's just change here. Alright, so by having access to this thing, we can investigate and get to know how Blender works if we have just some, or at least checking some stuff out of curiosity, scientific curiosity, and start to understand, start to make sense of things. So this can become more and more interesting as long as we start getting more understanding of this stuff. So here, for instance, let's add a meta rig here, or just an armature. Yeah, it can be just an armature, because the armature, while it's not required to be a meta rig, we can still have access to the Rigify if it is installed, if it's enabled, right, the extension, like it is my case. So we can bring here the Rigify panel, but it says pose mode, so I know here it is the rig type, and here we could check this, but not yet. Yeah, let's check the blank spot. Here we cannot access the edit source of the panel itself, but we can access the, here is not the same thing, but we can access, yeah, we can access from here. So let's check here what this UI Python, so it's something, it doesn't seem that has to do with directly with Rigify, but we'll see if we can reach and import BPY. Okay, so Blender module, Blender Python module, from Blender Python module types, import. Okay, so here what is happening is that from a specific, I don't know why this is doing, because if you import BPY, it should imply that anything that is inside BPY is already here. So maybe this is, I don't know why this is required, so, but I know this is specific in BPY module on the subcategory types. Then we can import precisely those other models or submodels or functions or stuff, right? So there are stuff on these types category. So let's see if that's from BPY props. Okay, then the properties, bool property, int property, enum property, string property. Oh, I see. No, I don't see. So this is maybe a so basal thing that it needs to do this kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe. And so this is nothing. Might be a bit far away from what I'm looking for, right? Let's see if we, oh, there's, here we got some Rigify stuff, so let's check here. Import, how many math utils, okay, this is another module. Import color, okay, photos, import math. So here's just importing a lot of stuff. Okay, so maybe this is because of Rigify, but if you just enable the add-on, it should be granted. I don't understand, so doesn't matter. From utils, the idea of using Rigify, actually I realized that we don't need Rigify in order to create a script that will create bones for us and drivers and you name it. The whole rig, a whole brand new custom rig can be created directly in Blender with scripting and without needing Rigify add-on. But so I have a split in my project here, which would be either I'm trying to assess how hard it would be to make customization of Rigify, like adding new rig types, using the directories and updating. Then maybe I don't think you yeah, wouldn't require to make a new add-on for that, just adding stuff, Python files that then I would send to other artists, publish, sell, I don't know. Then, well, okay, put that in the right place, update, and then you can run those things as a meta rig, custom meta rig that I've made, or the idea is to make, or rig types that I've made, or also to later on to make some content to teach people how to learn and make their own. So I need to assess how hard is this to be achieved in relation to how hard it is to actually create from scratch or just a scripting text editor, which is actually it's not a piece of cake, but it's actually much easier than I was thinking. Took me actually it just took me several years to get started, right? I mean to decide so that I would start learning some Python scripting. I don't like scripting. I like programming, yeah, because scripting is like a mechanical thing, right? But we could say the art of scripting as well. It's just a word, but I like programming, coding. Yeah, coding is like scripting. So programming, not a programmer, not a scripter. So of course those definitions are sort of there's not super important here, semantics in some ways also, but here we got the alright, so this is the idea of the encoding, which I haven't found yet. Okay, here, there you go. There is the panel, you'll see.
Here I'm going to save this file again inside this new folder. Okay, now I'm going to go to the 3D view.
Here, so this Rigify tab here, he is Tudor, right? The guy that made the Rigify CG Dive, right? In edit mode, this panel should appear if we have armature tab. We're gonna check this right now. So if I have here, I am edit mode, and I check here, there would be a Rigify tab. Yeah, there is. That Rigify tab is not on pose mode for this case, because maybe it's not a meta rig, not sure. But here we got the Rigify, and here we can encode meta rig to Python. So as the tutorial says, so it's a bit tricky to find, right? This only appears here. So Rigify DevTools encode sample to. So sample is not the rig type. It's useful, but like if I make an arm, left, right arm, I don't know. So this will be the. If I make a leg, if those things don't need to, if they have any value to be separated rig parts, and yeah, we make like rig samples, right? rig samples. Yeah, so the rig samples are here actually. Where's Rigify, rig? No. Well, I need to be on edit mode to add those rig samples. Where here I'm a bit lost with this. Where's the? It should be here. Color sets, no. Bone UI collections, no. Sample, okay, it was in the end. So the very end. So here on edit mode, right? So here we got all those samples and they were reorganized, and but I want custom samples. So this is the samples for me are the least interesting part, because I if I have rig types, I can just I can, instead of having a samples, I can have just a meta rig, right? So I can jump this step of the samples. They can be a bonus thing, right? But we can just, I think so this encode sample to Python, it's not super important. And I was thinking about my rig, but the problem with my rig, it's all sort of interconnected. So the rig sample would, yeah, like you analyze stuff, and maybe this is not good then for the meta rig is more stiffer, but it's like it is more complete, right? So I would start ignoring the rig samples and jumping straight to the, it's useless to jump straight for me to the meta rig, because if I don't have rig types, custom rig types, I mean scripts that correspond to rig types that I made myself and then added to the rig types, and then I can on edit mode rig type bring it here, right? So I can, from a bone, it will once we generate the rig from the meta rig, then it will apply this to the generated rig as it is being created, so generated or regenerated. So the Rigify already gives the property, this functionality that will destroy everything, remake everything. I don't know exactly how that works. I believe it's just a destructive process. It's just reconstruct from scratch, delete everything, remake everything. But maybe not, maybe not. But that strategy in rigging, I've already seen in something exactly that. Someone, a developer of that one called Rig on the Fly, they do that. Exactly that. They destroy the rig part and reconstruct it to solve some I key F key switch, some stuff like that. Yeah, they totally destroy the one part of the rig and recreate like from the data that was available at the point of so apparently that helps. So the destructive methods, sometimes they are useful, alas, often, right? And we don't even feel it or see it necessarily as destructive as in the workflow, right? It just works. So let's continue here and see if there's any. Yes, because maybe the rig type's name, they would be here, face superface. Let's try something like this, faces. Superface. So indeed, so here, as you can see, folks, I was not wrong. My intuition was right. So there is the rig types. Yeah, this is close to the beginning, right? So there is the definition of there's the class that will define the data PT. What is panel. This I don't know what its property, and I'm not sure. So this is just a classification, a way to define to name classes in Blender, but it's sort of a convention, but I'm not familiar with them yet, so I cannot read what that means. But this is a function apparently of that class, meaning that the type of the basically that will be the type of the class is a panel class. That means it's class for this. So this is not defined. This is telling that this is we are classifying the class. We are saying that this is here's this is PEP8 is the convention, and this Python PEP8 naming, no inspection. No, I don't know what that means, but the fact is that PEP8 is the convention for naming, and I think this, I don't remember, I think this is for the classes and probably other things as well. So this is the types panel for that class. The name of the label is the, let's get some soundtrack here, it'll be funnier if it allows us to focus here. Hold on folks, let's close this. Okay, so I was talking about, oh sorry for folks, forgot about the sound. I need to put my headphones. One second here. The cables are all, those things are very fragile if you mess up with those VC cables, they break, stop working, right? Yes, now it won't have looping sounds. Alright, so let's go here, let's go back. Yes, then we have Rigify, which is the label is the tab, so label Rigify. Now this is not I don't remember what is the Blender label. It's the, if it's not the tab, no, this is the tab, so this is, so context is used for the, so this is the data tab, yeah. In the case of the properties editor, which is here, so space type, BL space type is the, this is preset names classified in Blender UI. So this is the properties editor. This is for the stating that the class will exist in here, properties editor. Then it will exist in the region type, which is window is the main region, right? Not the sidebar or something like that. Now the main region, so window, so it's here, and then data, which is data, all right. And then here okay, so Rigify is the label, but the name is incorrect. Actually, this probably is named Rigify, but it has its own name. So it's like Rigify, but the true name is Rigify. The name of the panel is Rigify type. At some point, this panel will be named here in a label as it is being drawn. You see the update materials. There's a label here, but I don't see. This material requires upgrading to bone collections. This probably will depend on the object mode, the mode maybe. Def poll, so poll is for poll, something like that. This is the method of poll, so I can't explain that. Return is valid meta rig context. Okay, what is a valid meta rig? So probably if it is a generated rig, it's no more valid. Things work differently. But whether it's a meta rig or a normal rig, that should be valid, I guess. Context allow needs upgrade to okay, there's also something maybe that's related to the upgrade thing. Okay, draw. Okay, so this is the drawing the panel. So C equals context, so this is a variable for this, I guess, taken individually. Yes, taken after this. Yeah, so okay, not sure exactly how that's work, but then layout. So this is very common. So we pick this in put this into a hierarchy, right? So we want to say layout. It is saying actually all that, but it's trickier than that apparently. And then object, another variable we are referencing. So this is new for me. Verify armature object function. So this is a function that might already exist. This is a function that might have a definition somewhere, maybe. Control C, we could try to find it here. Armature ID store, no, it's not defined here probably. So it's not defined here. So this is preset. Probably it might be a Rigify add-on thing we might find in some deeper stuff for Rigify stuff. So verify armature context in the context object. So I have no idea. Object mode maybe. Oh yeah, this context might be object mode. Not sure. If select self-select. Okay, then this is under this hierarchy. So this might mean something important, certainly, but that I don't know yet as of yet. Object data collections active index. No, I can't read that. Object data collections are Rigify. Viral self here. If return finished. Okay, I forget about that. So I think this is trying to draw. Oh no. So sorry folks, this was way. No, there are many of those. But it's never being defined. It's like define the function. So there's nothing, not something like this. There's none. So this is not here. So let's return to the very beginning and let's not very beginning. Let's see where I was before. I was checking the list of. What are those? I think I've skipped those. Window manager. There are a lot of definitions here. Get Rigify types. This is interesting. ID store. VPY types. Window manager. ID property. Rigify name. So Rigify name might be something that relates to the name of the stuff. So let's try. Build type. This probably is, they're just defining a function. Build type list. Probably this will execute, will create the rig type into the 3D viewport editor, right? Or maybe it's something else. Okay, if context object data active feature set in register feature set or len feature set get enable modules names are identical to 0, which I don't know what the 0 means here. A define here, define just inside the indentation of this, then define if blah blah, then reference A equals Rigify types add the Rigify type, add name, so Rigify types add dot name, right? This is what this means, equals R, and R for R, this is sometimes you use I don't know what this is. Doesn't matter. So I don't know if, I'm not sure if this is adding a rig type to the, when we click here, or if this is something else. We could try, like if I get this, then we got the info. There is no shortcut for this. Face skin, BPI context, active bone, active pose bone, active pose bone. So in the active pose bone, that is in pose mode, Rigify type is that one. So Blender module Python, Blender Python module in the context of the active pose bone, the one that is active, then Rigify type will be that, and that's it. So I can change here Rigify type, because so I can copy paste this thing here. Actually, let's pick copy, and let's try to find where comes this. Let's see if we find this somewhere there. I can't find it here. Let's try. Nope. Strange, so I cannot see here. As I set, I didn't add, I just set, right? I just set for this bone. If I add a new bone, I'm gonna duplicate actually. Now let's gonna add a new bone, right? This is the new one, this is the old one. So this doesn't have, oh, it has a rig type. Delete. This will null, right? This will negate the rig type. And this will add the rig type. So this is like deleting. But when I place this, nothing happened. Probably because this function was already defined somewhere. Let's try just finding this. Can't find, maybe I need to go to the beginning also. Nope. So let's just try this. We'll find one. Many found. So active pose bone. Class method. Def pole. Return is valid. Method is just class method. So this is something about the class that I don't understand. I have return is valid. Matter rig contest. Okay, same thing about the checking if it is. no, maybe not checking, but return is valid material and context active pose. Yeah, no, it's not necessarily related to this. Let's def draw active pose bone, rig name, get ready type bone. Get Rigify types ID store. Ah, this is interesting. This function is getting ID store, right? The rig type might be there, right? So there are the Rigify, get Rigify types. I should note this somewhere, right? Yeah, so I was mentioning before, folks, so I have this description which is empty, but then I have a file here, another one that is not public. This I'm still working on. There are some many basics here of fundamentals that I've been learning from scripting, so a lot of things that I want to find a way to publish that in some, maybe with reference to videos. So I'm still thinking how I would get this didactic, right? Here, but for instance, I could, yeah, so I can add here something that could be interesting for that. Where is that rig type thing, right? So this interests me. Oops, not that. Alright, let's just change here the apply this here, right? Rigify, yeah, rig types get, this is a function, and gonna look for that. So build types, there's some comment here. Build type list context rig types. This is the same thing here. So this like get Rigify type. So this will be like something like this, right? Build type list. Another function here. Okay, it's building the list from scratch, but if I add a new, how would that be? Yeah, I think it will be updated provided I have the file and I refresh, right? Blender environment, active set Rigify type, Rigify ID store, raw prop search. Okay, this is the search thing, so this is still the class that is still the class for that panel, right? What is this new one? Another panel? Panel 1. Okay, of course, because there are multiple panels. So one is the oh, this is the Rigify type. Color sets. Oh, we've been through that. Okay, so very far from the so this is what matters. Yes, totally. Okay, so Rigify type. Oops, what I'm doing. Let's I deleted something of this. I'm not gonna save anyways, but here Rigify type. So this appears twice. This is the class, the label, so it's the name indeed. Rigify type. Class be a Blender description. Upgrade the Rigify types on the active meta rig armature. Upgrade meta rig types. I don't know if this is for the whole meta rig, for the whole Rigify or something, or it's just the when I add this here, so I have no idea. Upgrade meta Rigify. It's not enough information. Now it's going back and forth, I don't know why, but okay, so we have here Rigify type, Bone PT Rigify buttons, I want all that because I want to class of rig type panel, which is located in Rigify panel. Yeah, like it's actually not Rigify panel, it's located in Bone tab, properties editor, yeah. It's like the, this is the context, this is the label, right? Context bone. Region type is the window, right? So actually this is bone tab is not the context, this is the okay context indeed, but here we got window is region. So here I'm not sure what comes for, or so of course this is editor. Alright, let's see what else. Anything here is more interesting. Get Rigify type bone. Yeah, alright. Rig types, get Rigify types on layout. So this is just the drawing the stuff, right? So it's not executing. Rig type field, build types list. Okay, this is rig types field, and new props search, blah blah. Rig type parameters, rig type non-exist alert. Alright. Acceptors. Okay, so this is all about like how it manage, I think how it managed those things. The interesting is that as we add a rig type, there is this option. So this I don't know how to build yet, but it's like as we add the rig type, we need to make a new panel, or more data will appear in this under the same panel. It's an update, so that's like running a script. As soon as we bring here, so in add to a rig type, this could be automatic. Maybe we don't need these setups because these are customizations. It is it's good to have, but it's not necessary for my project. So this is secondary to what I want to do. I think it could just be, there might be a rig type which there is nothing, right? I think there's a custom thing, no, simple, no, sample, no, I don't know the name of the, maybe if I look here I'll remember. Maybe it's not in this list. Yeah, it might be in some. Okay, then, and it ends here, right? So there's, and what is this? Rigify dev tools. So this is still another panel. That interesting. I don't know how this class here, which only appears for pose mode, how it can be set that way. Maybe it's this def class method here. It will appear CLS, I don't remember CLS context. Okay, but context, oh, there. And that is super interesting. So that means that if I get this feature, then when we are not in a valid, for instance, let's make a test here, generate rig. Okay, there's that work. Let's add a new armature here. Armature, actually a Rigify, stripe basic human, and generate rig. Okay, like that. Let's see now if this is a valid one. We go on pose mode. We go on the bone tab. We go on the window, right? We see here that we don't have the on bone tab. It's not valid, but we are on pose mode. But it is not there. So armature. While if we have here, or if you have a, well, the meta rig, right here, but a normal armature is not generated. We are not in pose mode. Now we are in pose mode. Then it is valid. And this one, we are in pose mode. It is valid. Here we are in pose mode. It is nowhere to be found. So this is being because of this poll. So it's say yes or no, something like that. I don't see why not if. Maybe if is not something of, yeah, it's might be some difference. Maybe it's this poll applies better to class. So definition of a poll CLS. I'd like to know what is this, but I don't remember right now. Some weeks ago I was looking at that, but now so let's get here, copy this into my list here. This class is actually, yes, part of the, it's indented into the class, right? So that means, yeah, let's see what I've learned from this is the armature object must be non-generated rig, and this is valid meta rig context. So is valid meta rig is a function probably created by Rigify, defined by Rigify, right? Is valid meta rig. Let's see if we, this will make me lose here, but I know where to find this. Is Rigify type, rig type. No, this is the same thing. Return is valid meta rig, and same thing. Edit, what is this? Is not edit. I don't know that. Is valid meta rig plus. Can I def? No, not to be found. Okay, so here from utils import meta rig grade meta rig. So is valid meta rig. So here apparently utils rig might be the Rigify thing maybe. Utils rig import right meta. Yeah, looks like this utils rig could be the BPY. I think it's BPI utils rig, right? There are some. Yeah, here BPI utils. Rigify module, submodule. Then here, okay, rig type, rig type like this. Text rig type. Okay, this is the panel, right? Reflexions type ID store classifier. Yeah, we are back to the Rigify type actually. This is interesting. So it must be valid. It must accommodate two conditions, right? It needs to be a valid meta rig. So either a non-generated rig, so either this or maybe something else, and it must be on pose mode. Then that the class method for it to be polled, and then it will be rendered, right? In the UI user interface, provide these conditions are met. Def draw, then if that is correct, class method correct, then we define the drawing method, and that is drawing method. Okay, so this is setting the. Okay, then we have something. Okay, other panels, Rigify animation tools. So let's see what's the class method here. Another poll, and here if not object context. Active object must be the probably something about the active element in the selection must be the same. The rig stuff, Rigify. Probably this is for the generated rigating, Rigify animation tools. I'm not familiar enough with Rigify to know where this to be found, but this is like UI view 3D. This is the region, right? Sidebar region. Pose mode must be VL context. There is C. But this doesn't seem to be no NOQA. I think this is arbitrary naming of the pose mode. Is just Rigify animation tools, right? So if we have here, let's check. What is the category Rigify? So category is the tab category. This is a panel. I don't see the name of any of. I'm confused now. What is the, let's say, BL category? No, it's not the... I don't have examples of that. How terrible. Yeah, I don't have good examples here. They are somewhere else, but I thought, yeah, just can't find the... Can't remember what that is, but for clarification. But this, I think this is here. Is something related to this one. It's in item, but there's no item here. Let's reduce no end panel here. Just checking. Yeah, none of these are Rigify stuff, so the Rigify are in item here. Alright, so rig ID. Okay, so there's rig ID thing. That rig ID, I remember this is... There's a custom property. And here's the rig ID. So it's not in the bone tab. That depends on the selected bone, right? But it's the data tab. So this is the string. So the proper name. The arbitrary name as string. Not good for... It's not a function, not a variable. It's just a string. How they call it. And this is the property name, rig ID, which is shown here. So you need this code here, not here, right? Because this will be spawned for every single armature object. Will have an identity. So let's say Shift D, regenerate. Okay, it's duplicate. Maybe it doesn't work. Let's get another one. And now let's generate. So this will have this is, oh no, the generated rig is here. So see, two rig IDs, right? They are different. So this for every generated rig there's some rig ID. So this is... This might be important when I'm making the meta rig, maybe, and trying to implement a meta rig, or no, maybe not, because I can't say. I think that would be useful if I needed to regenerate something, but I think it won't be useful because Rigify handles this already. The identification of this. Okay. Depth draw. Let's see if there's anything. Okay, so here is the... What are those? Okay, this is generating the panels apparently of this animation stuff. Transform is yeah, so you see this I key to F key pose. Depending on the bone that is, yeah, this can be quite complicated. Fortunately, my rig doesn't need most of this. I know how to build this in other ways, so I can strangely I don't know if to which kind of meta rig this is. This generic thing. Generate rig. Generate a rig from the active meta rig armature. Okay, so this is a class of the generation of the rig, and lots of errors possibilities. And upgrade meta rig type, so a class that upgrades the meta rig. Upgrade meta rig layers. Bone layers, yes. This means that triple quotes here, tripled double quotes here, means that when this is run, this will appear in the Blender Python console. I think it will be like a comment. Yeah, might be a comment that appear. It's they call documentation. Maybe it doesn't appear here, but appear in the Blender console thing. Maybe not in the info though. Still trying to find this out. Then another class, validate meta rig. And there's probably that thing that is trying to validates reference or rig component. So okay, sample. What is this? Create a sample meta rig to be modified before generate the final rig. Okay, this is the sample add, right? This is the add sample, I think. Types not an operator. Adds operator. Yeah, there's a props, right? BPI props should appear somewhere. Edit armature. Yeah, the samples they work must be on exactly on edit armature is the edit mode, I think, for specifically for the armature objects. Interesting. Okay, so the context, right? Context is mode must be this. Is that it? The condition is strict as this. That's an interesting. Otherwise the class doesn't go on. That's an interesting idea. So here I'm not sure, but it's a cool condition to have here. That seems to mean that yeah, this will be not fully explained. I have to remember everything, but there's okay, that's part of the learning process. Then we continue here, but I couldn't find the, well, I found in the beginning. Let's try now to find the, I've read enough here of this code, trying to understand the basal things here, the superficial aspects, of some main aspects of how this is just one, right? One Python file regarding Rigify. Let's get here the bone and see on pose mode. Yeah, we are already on pose mode. What if I get here? Let's try to. It's the same, you see. Whichever there is here, when I click, there is leads to the same stuff. So that means that what I need to do here is let's see if I can find these names somewhere here. They are here, and I wonder how they could be updated. Doesn't seem that. Well, this one, let's try this. No, not found yet. Text was not found. I think I found something before. Can't find face based on. Let's see this one. No, let's see face, skin, eye. Nope. Limbs, arm. Not. Okay, there is one. Oh, this is because of the upgrade. It's just this was just a coincidence. You know, it can upgrade the face upper face is the only reason why it appears here. So the listed rig types, they do not appear here, but they are found from some sort of list, right? I need to find that list, the folder where they're set, and access the Python for it, because here I can't find it. So let's try and check first some Google and see Blender Rigify, where are located the folder Python files for rig type. How to fix, where is Rigify, where is generator now, how to change rig type. The list available appears in the bone properties tab. When you scroll down there, no. How to apply Rigify, how to change the refinement missing pre-compiled the pre-compiled meta rigs can be found in. No, this is the meta rig admin. Currently available meta rig to know. Yes, but there should be information here. Rig types are components used by Rigify to process specific parts of the rig when generating the armature. They represent common character features like spine. Okay. The list of available rig types in the okay. This document rig types that are bundled with Rigify. Okay, they are bundled, but they are somewhere, and they should tell where. Creating meta rigs, no. These rig types are used to generate a simple directly. The single bone rig types must be applied separately. Copies the bone chain, keeping all the require a chain of blah 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 blah. Okay, so it's all useless to what I mean, what I want to find apparently. Because they don't tell even the name of this. They might not even be Python files, or there could be one Python file with all of them, but I think this will be super long, right? I suspect they should have some Python things, so let's try something Python, just a name like this name plus Python. So if I could check that. let's say, let's go back to the, this is the idea that I sent let's see what is this feature set at this point. Yeah, so this is the UI that, not sure what is this. Color set, bond collection, search, yearly open, actions, correction, okay, nothing else here. Okay, so we can try basic copy chain. That would be complicated. Or I could just, yeah, let's try. Yeah, here is not, the problem is that when I tried to found the Blender 4 here, I don't find, so this is old, right? So this is, I cannot test things here probably. But I could check, like, it should be, so here we already have an extension, so probably Rigify is not here, data files, no assets, so it should be in scripts. What is Python? No, so it should be in scripts, then modules, presets, startup, so add-on score, Rigify, oh, add-on score, okay, Rigify. Not sure if it was the case, but feature sets, meta rigs, animals, basic, human, basic human. There's a meta rig Python file compiled, encoded. So here is probably where we should place them. Let's create something crazy here. I just need to set. Let's see if I base generate. Okay, this means nothing, but yeah, I open a new Blender. Let's try to. Yeah, this is a different version, so it's just strange that it's not appearing there. So yeah, no, it doesn't. So this is doesn't update indeed. So as expected. So this is something old. So I wonder where I should find it. So operators. Action layers, copy mirror, generic. Upgrade face rig. Upgrade face rigs. Basic. Now, would it be the samples or would be the rig types? These are the samples, right? But inside these samples, widgets, utils, this is generic chain rigs. Can I open this in? chain rig, base rig. A rig that consists of 3 connected chains of define org bones. Mention B bone segments. Refer bone to be used of a parent whole with definite integration. Stage generate bones. Def make control chain. Make control chain self bone. I expect some bone add if that's what I think. Use connect. I don't see BPI stuff running here. So maybe this is more about it doesn't look like the kind of things that it might be some more generic things. Spine. Okay, so maybe the thing is in the meta rig, right? I mean, maybe the rig types that I'm looking for, they are inside these samples in the end. Yes, that makes sense. So here the path is this kind of stuff. Can I copy that? Copy, okay. Let's see here. Go back to my thing here. Let's learn for this. Okay, scripts are done. So rig samples maybe contain rig types, scripts. Alright, this might be good stuff now, because yeah, it makes sense, because each rig sample contains at least one rig type. So I'll have to open this in, well, I don't need to open it here, right? We can open it from, or I can just copy, let's say, now let's see limbs. What's the easiest? No one is easy, right? Let's see the arm. I shouldn't have done that. Always open with this. Import VPI from Utils import matrix. From util bones. Oh, I can. Let's do something cool here. I can close this. Now let's add a new. I don't need this window here. Let's close this other blender though. Let's get our scripting workspace, new, and copy paste. So this is the arm sample, right? Import BPI from utils. Okay, import matrix. Don't know what that is. From utils, blah blah. Put bone compute. Lot of stuff going on. Derive name, adjust widget transform, widgets, create hand widget, utils, create base rig, import stage limbs rig, base limb rig, base limb rig, class, human arm rig. Okay, so maybe I was wrong, and the samples are fundamental for describing the functionality of the rig type. So maybe we need a rig sample, a Rigify sample just in order to have the space, let's say, for the to accommodate the functionality of rig type. So it's likely that the rig type would be here. If that is true, then one thing that I should find here is that the arm would appear here. Not only here maybe, but is possibly fundamentally here. So if I got here on the, let's check the sample, the name of the rig type, which is arm, I think limbs arm, I think it was that. So I'm gonna copy that and let's see if we can find it. Yeah, certainly it is somewhere here, but I don't know what is the, yeah, it is arm Python, right? Let's try to find limbs arm, and indeed we found this. I expect this to not be, you see it has this thing, means that this is a preset string. Well, maybe even some sort of more than not only a string. This dot is suspicious, but it is p-bone. What is p-bone? Okay, let's check. One p-bone Rigify type. Oh, we have, yeah, okay, we are referencing limb, super limb, if limb. Okay, so this is actually the hierarchy of the meta rigs and rig samples. Like this is maybe that's the case. So, but it's not what interests me here. And there's only this limbs arm. Yeah, so is there other arm stuff here that we can use? Arm, limb rigs, limb utils. It will be hard to rigs limbs folder. Too many questions, but grid based limb rig. So the idea here, folks, if this is too hard to then maybe it is not good to try and make a rig type and Rigify samples in the end, because right, I can do this already from scripting without Rigify add-on. I can already do some stuff without having to be dependent on Rigify. Maybe the idea of placing to Rigify as is just will be cool because of the integration, but if that is made 10 times harder, as I suspect it can be the case for noobs like myself, and so this is why I maintain my critique, right? Educated critique. I'm not saying that Rigify sucks. I mean, like, they should have made this more customizable, even in the documentation. Then yeah, anyone that knows scripting to some, well, not a basic level, initiate level like myself. No, you need to be making maybe an intermediate to experienced scripter, just to programmer, just to be able to do anything without this. Maybe there is some documentation somewhere, but I don't like this approach of like classified content, right? I don't think this is this. I hope they are looking forward to change this. There's the future of rigging and animation. If that was not complicated, it's complicated, but I mean, if this was revamped or original, the original, the past we can't change, right? In principle, that was sense. But if the idea was revamped in some way, or is that we allow initiate scripters to anyone initiate to have to be able to do the basics here, right? Then that will be more open, like, right? And then we could now I doubt I can handle this to take months maybe for me to be able to, or some teacher, someone to guide me into this. But it sounds too much, not only overwhelming, it sounds like impossible to do. While with the things that I've learned from some YouTube channels initiating artists, riggers, animation to scripting, well, Blender focusing to scripting, Python scripting, well, we can do a lot without all this. Yeah, I'm confident that I can make not a meta rig, I can generate a sophisticated rig with a few more dedication without Rigify. While if I were to try to attempt this kind of custom rig types, custom meta rig in the way I mean it, the automations of my own custom rigs, then that could take like months of learning. So I don't see the point. I see the point in the future, but I think this should be there should be some way to get through this. You see, I wasn't able to find the location of the rig types, but they might be, I might be looking at it, but not the Rigify samples, the rig. Well, sometimes it's called Rigify type, right? So I'm looking for the Rigify, the samples. Yeah, it's samples and the Rigify types or rig types. I have hopes that I can find the way, but in that sense I don't know which kind of parts of the code I would need or not need, so I need to make an extra copy, right? First I must fix the Blender installation, right, to have auto-update of those things. There's another thing I can check, right? There's the other, you know, the user. Yeah, so this other path here, right? Let's try scripts, add-ons, but Rigify is not here, so what do I do? So this is what CGDive alerted. Extensions, maybe it's Cloud Rig, VRM, screen keys. Yeah, those are extensions. Blender extension. No, so it's strange, right? Where is Rigify? Ah, Cloud. It is in Cloud Rig. It can't be. Cloud Rig has its own yeah, Cloud Rig, it's not Rigify is here. Cloud Rig, it's okay, it's both. Probably I have already installed, but Rigify they found here. Yeah, I know the name of these guys. They were all main contributors. They are still working on that. So I hope they get the good stuff right on this, but that is will certainly take time. Anyways, let's continue here and see. So you see the documentation don't tell anything here about what that could be, how we would handle this kind. It explains what it does, right? How we customize the preset, but like no, actually how we work from the preset, but not previous to presetting our own right stuff. Feature set, let's see. Reflexions allows third-party developers to implement sub-add-ons. Called feature. Yeah, that's maybe this is what I should be attempting to do, like Cloud Rig of Zajic, right? Which can provide new meta rigs and rig. So here is the way to go. So you see, what this idea was changed, maybe revamped after Blender 4, after the extensions, after the. But why? Why it must be like that? Doesn't matter. So that seems to be the way. So I was with the wrong idea, right? I was trying to do something from the root. Maybe they want to protect the Rigify features from being broken by noobs. So why? Blender is not like that, right? You can break Blender. You're supposed to break Blender. But okay, it's like open field, right? So this is the experimental for. So this is might be the thing that I must be looking for. Similar to regular add-ons, they can be installed from zip files through. Okay, fair enough. It's not like I don't know why this approach, but okay, maybe that's it. Rigify at this point, maybe it's too inbuilt in Blender, and then it's like you can't just mess up with the structure you need of Rigify. You need to go in a lower hierarchy level. You need to make it adapt, make some feature sets adapt to it, right? Get the meta rigs adaptation through this thing here. I hope this is still valid. I think it is. Cloud Rig is an example that is existing to this day as an extension, while the case of experimental rigs by Alexander Gravlov was incorporated. Then later on, if I not, it was a feature set that it went into the Rigify. Its rig types and rigs and samples were incorporated. Maybe they passed through some change, probably, but they now are part of Rigify. Sessions, I'm not sure, maybe. So provide the original Rigify rigs by Nathan Vegdal, one of the original guys of the Rigify thing. Minimally ported and repackaged to work with switching Rigify to legacy mode. Can't read that. Known that's not time for focus on that. Note that their names were changed, so meta rigs designed for legacy mode aren't directly compatible. Okay. Rig experiments. So here this rig was the tentacle, right, with spline eye key. Rig experiments, some of which might be included in Rigify in the future. They were, so this is. Well, some were indeed, and maybe some weren't. Example include limbs with an extra system based at the elbow, spline based time. And so this is what I'm talking about, folks. I have a custom rig. I do experimental rigging, but I'm noobish scripting. So there are a lot of other riggers around in the world that would like to have their great automations to be done, right? Why it is so hard to just make the translation, right? So there are like a programming barrier here, right? So this is what I'm fighting, the barrier, not the programming's perspective or vision. No, not. I have my own vision, right? What I mean is that I'm fighting this barrier at this point, and I think we want more of this, right? We want more of this, and we want to get more custom original rig stuff, right, to be automated, because rigging is, I understand these guys were visionaries, right, because they understood very early that took me a while to figure this out, but they understood very early, in the sense of, let's say, the development of Blender, right, that for rigging we need automation, lot of automation for complicated systems. That comes from mocap, that comes from retargeting animation, that comes from generating rigs, presets and systems that are compatible with game engines, with, I think it's the case of Sesson's rig or some other that is not listed here anymore, but yeah, so all these things are very interesting, and the idea of automation is super important. And now at my level of rigging, I can do a lot of things, but I lack the power of automation for what I do, because I don't know scripting enough. Now I'm starting to learn Python scripting, some basic programming, and this is very empowering. It takes, it's not that difficult, but now I would like to incorporate this into Rigify if I can. Maybe this is the way to go, not so. And if I want to make content about this, so that will be great if this is the correct approach indeed, and it's not super hard, then that, because creating them, creating bones, adding drivers, bone constraints, setting all this through Python scripting, BPI, right, model in text editor in Blender, that's actually a piece of cake. Like there's, if you get the right approach, it's actually easy. There's just a few folks out there in the community. I can name some that I've been watching. So CG Python, for instance, like this guy here. He has a, yeah, let's see, let's show some, what is the name, driver, yeah, so demonstration. So it has 2 tutorials. I've just watched one today. You can customize, so easily create driver variables with Python, Blender Python. Okay, you need some basics, but those basics you can get like I did in a few weeks of research, or days even, of getting familiar with the scripting, and you can watch many of these tutorials. So he has even one tutorial, longer tutorial, 40 minutes, about 50 maybe, about the concept of class. It's not sufficient, but it gets some cool ideas. Maybe I should rewatch it, even this kind of theoretical, right, approach that is good. So this guy is very, his name is, so helping, is helping a lot, right, this guy here, right? So and here is a actually incredibly short tutorial, and now I know it is possible. I was wondering, okay, what about, I knew about modifiers, I knew about bone constraints, yeah, everything you add, automate, you set up, and now you with drivers too. It's a bit tricky, but it's not trickier than anything else. So it's like the basics Maybe some more advanced things will be harder, but this is the this is the the way, one way to do this. And then you can, if you want or not, add this into so the properties you can create. There's another guy that is very super recommended. I super recommend Score Data. He has like, he has here of the properties, different kinds of. This guy is a master of teaching and the programming ideas for the. Unfortunately, this was 4 years old and there is no more content, but he has an entire collection here, right? A playlist. Each one of these are fantastic, especially this one of the custom operators property. He explain all the very good explanation. So this is a yeah, not so successful channel, but this class is like top tier. So they got me. Oh, this is I had a lot of. He explains very well. So core data. So this is really. Each one is a mini master class. UI. This is good to get some idea, but this one is much better. Programming introduction also very nice. Properties and layouts, and the last is just like the completion. So these 4 ones, yeah, watch all that. That is super cool. And then there's another one which is, I don't remember the name. Explain demonstrate example. Yeah, so I think this one is now it's this the same. So I have many references. I think it's it's not that. Kurt Holt, I think. Curtis, I think it's this guy. Let's see. Yeah, so this is also a master class for introduction. Not this is. So Python crash course, Curtis Holt. Very good also. This particular one, because he explains many topics. So all those guys are that I've just mentioned, they are very good. So with those, and there's another one that has some ideas that also help. Let's see, it's the I don't know, it's the something about Python console. Let's see, the BPY. It's something about bones. Yeah, so Sleffy. So this also has some interesting distinction. He doesn't use too much the text info, the text editor, so it's more about the Python console, but these ideas also help in getting in touch with this the context, like the bones and the edit bones. Maybe it's not like that, but so this is interesting, but this is more like Python console, so this is a different approach, but also useful, so worth mentioning. And then how you can, and then Blender Python has the CG Python has something about the keyframing, right? So then here too there are keyframings in the pose, I think. So here we can like have some ideas how we can add keyframes to objects in this case. But I think there are other examples, but anyways, so that's also available through scripting. And there's something else to complete. What was this? And they all mention other reference, so there's a good network, let's say, about this content. What is the I was looking for, not scripting, not Yeah, okay, so that's enough. That should be some of the reference that I've been looking. And let's try to see if there's more stuff to the feature set. Third part is the auto implementer add-ons. Okay, I know sub add-ons, okay, called feature set. So these sub add-ons, okay, which can provide meta rigs and designs, or they can be installed from zip files through Rigify settings. Okay, this I know. Good to remember, to refresh the idea. If that still is working this way, it's unclear to me. There are example features of okay, so but okay, how you can install this Pxy back, okay, but and then install the Rigify add-on API. So maybe this is where I need to look for the feature set character. Yeah, so this is the implementing a rig class. Okay, how component in main generation engine. No, this is not a UI script. Describe the option implemented generate custom UI script. Not sure this is utility library. Okay, so this is the utils rigify.utils bone. Util for create another manipulation. Okay, so this is what have been learning, one of the things, but without Rigify. So this is important. So there's the documentation, but maybe it is more accessible, likely more accessible than I thought. But all those languages, need to read the manuals, right? But not there's not a lot of discussion about this, right? This is what is one of the reasons that it's obscure, but it's getting clearer now, so I think this deserves more attention. Mechanism utilities or something like that, because utilities for creating custom properties, constraints and drivers. Okay, all this that we don't need Rigify for this, but Rigify has the automation and some presets that can be useful, right? So okay, just let's see this base rig. I think I want to know if that relates to the rig types. Reference of the rig types. Use the Rigify parent, Rigify child, Rigify methods, rig find. So there's a now school of Rigify here, so it's like sometimes when you get a formatted system, right, it's too stiff or too complicated. It grants great features, great power, but sometimes it's better to restart from scratch, right? So this is the kind of approach that I'm not super excited about, but let's say maybe it sounds just too overwhelming for rig sample. Okay, rigs provide a usable sample. It's like a whole structure of things that I have no idea what they do, but something maybe I don't need to use everything, just like a blender, like Python, just use a few stuff for your own. So maybe that's the idea, right? Guidelines describe some organization guidelines used for the new style Rigify rig code. So I'm very suspicious. I always believe that there are good approaches for getting in touch with the essence of a problem, of a solution, of the real thing, right? So like things can be complex and complicated, but there are decomplicators, clearing factors, and a good teacher, a good tutor, a good master class of theoretical or in practice, right? Good examples, all these allegories, they change everything, right? Still, there are a lot of work to do, but it depends also on what we are dealing with, right? So At least this is my point of view. So use decorators to group relator. Okay, I've heard this idea of decorators already from CG Python. So this avoid big loop bodies. Okay, example. Here. A rig, class rig based on a rig consists of 3 connected chains of control organ deformed bones. Okay, there's the bone layers. Defined org bones, self bone. Okay, return bones. Return. Make control change self bones control map list def return self. Yeah, so this is I have this question, right? Why many things here are Greek to me. I sort of understand already some of what's happening here, but why do you need this variation of this of certain things to get those certain things to happen? Right, this is the one question, a fundamental, an essential question, because if you have to learn one thing, then you need to learn it twice. Maybe it's not too hard when you get some experience, but right, then you need to relearn the thing to. It's like you learn Blender, 3D animation in Blender. Oh, but there is Maya. Okay, then you need to learn 3D animation for Maya, which is sort of different. I was learning that, so this is might be sort of the thing here, right? So if you know animation, and if you already have done also some 3D animation, that okay, you don't need to relearn animation. You know the spirit of animation, the like from 2D, stop motion, pixelation, whatever, 2D digital animation, cut out, I don't know. But then you go 3D animation. Okay, I know how to animate 3D then you learn 3D animation in some software. You have the big picture of animation, of 3D animation, and then the technicality of 3D animation and the principles of animation in 3D space in a software, right? Then when you go to another software like Maya, it's not that complicated, you know. You have the structure, the skeleton, right? Rigging is somewhat similar. I know a lot of rigging in Blender at this point, but migrate to Maya, learn Maya, rigging in Maya. Yeah, I know how things happen. I need to adapt this, right? Re-skeletize everything, right? You need to rebuild that structure. You have the logic, but then there are some aspects in Maya that will be different. I think the change from 3D animation from Blender to Maya might be easier than the change of rigging in Blender to Maya, for instance. Besides the fact it might be much more boring process, but I think I could learn rigging in Maya. Not that hard, but it could take more time, right? Animation, I've already made some tests and sounds good, sounds feasible. But talk about the comparison, I think Blender is much better actually than Maya in many ways. But of course, I'm not a Maya specialist, so maybe I'm probably biased by many reasons. So that's what it looks like, right? We have like a different school of processes. We just need to adapt and learn. So there's methods here. So this looks like the implementing a rig sample. Okay, but they didn't mention rig type, did they? Okay, they mentioned rig parameters, and okay, these are the parameters. So the rig components can have custom. Wouldn't it be great if I have a tutorial like explaining how you make a feature set for, right, rig type for implementing in Rigify add-on, right, like a sub add-on, right? That is what is missing, is the missing thing, right? Maybe it's just too hard, right? So why they make it too hard? There are other ways, but well, I'm not giving up here, because I think I'm in the right track here, but I'll have to figure out what is the best approach still. So I'm going like splitting, right? Doing the two things, right? I'm looking for automation. Whichever path is faster would be the is simpler, will be, yeah, faster, simpler, more attractive. That will be the way to go. But I keep trying to learn both things, right? If possible. If at the end this doesn't gets me crazy, then yeah, then no, then I will not continue in this for maybe in the future, or maybe this will be subject to change. I'm not. I doubt this. More likely, more likely the guys that are revamping everything of the from Blender, the future of rigging and animation, more likely we'll have the rig nodes system, right? That would allow this same types of automation, but from a nodes system, right? Like geometry nodes. This system already exists for some other rigging softwares, I think. It's just Blender that is, this is normal, right? In some aspects lagging behind, but that's okay. But they might be come up with that, and that might be the revamped solution, right? Totally different than what I'm proposing directly with the scripting, right? I'm looking for the scripting, so rig nodes also are a solution, right? You know that Scratch, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology developed Scratch, which is programming language for kids. This thing, genius thing, right? Yeah, and what it is, it's nodes. It's nodes, and it's logic, computation logic, right? Scratch, and it's online, so it's right. So, and you integrate sound, video, animation, image, text, all that in the single software with nodes, right? So with the logic, the basis. These are, I've tested it in a course, so this is really fantastic. And that this is like 15 years ago from now, yeah, maybe. This is the way, right, to go for the one thing that's why rigging nodes might be the way to go. So I think they're already working on that, so hope that will be and then for folks that are going deep, then yeah, looking for the programming thing, then that goes into this these structures maybe. Okay, methods, boundaries, bound utilities. This is another thing. So what I need to look is for this this here. Yeah, so I'm gonna save this, right? And this might be a good documentation. Maybe not good for me. Maybe just okay. Start to reflect on stuff. Often those documentations they give some ideas, but it's like just a supplementary thing, useful, right? Sometimes very good tips, very good introductions. I think it's a must, right, to read this kind of stuff. But sometimes it's dispensable, right? And sometimes there is one or other information that if you don't read there in the manual, you don't find anywhere else. We'll be doing stuff for years, and until you read one line, oh, that's it. So this is very good to. That's why it's good not to miss, right? And it's good to try to understand what they mean, right, in those documentations. I wish they were commented better, right? But this is about the community, right? So it's about me, about others. But in Blender, like they made the system of commenting. It's boring. It's like difficult. It's not easy to contribute. It's not easy. So unfortunately, this is not simple. So no wonder there is sometimes lacking. Better documentation is also because it's not because people are lazy. No, it's because it takes too much time just to make some addition. You get to learn the thing. So it's where the technology is like against itself, right? So you need to technology should not be there to slave people, and the opposite, to liberate freedom, free people from and not to hijack their time and hijack their smartphones. That's horrible garbage, right? The hijacks people, right? In kids and yeah. So technology is always could be said. There's an expression in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, faca de dois gumes. It's it's a knife with blades on the two opposite sides. So it's like it cuts the user as well as what he or she wants to cut. So it's like two-edged blade. I don't know if that works in the notion, but some legacy code imports function from Rigify utils that is deprecated, and new code should always import directly from the relevant submode. Yeah, thanks. What is the relevant submode? Not this one. Oh, relevant submode, I see. So it's like Rigify utils naming, utility for manipulating bonus names. This is important. Utility library, so good to know. And this Rigify, I don't know how to access it. Would it be like import Rigify utils bones, just like that? Okay, folks, so here Rigify, how to create a rig type. I won't find it here, maybe. Input to rig type must be a chain of. Okay, no, just a. Don't know what's this. Doesn't matter. Rig parameters. Here I'm going back here, but let's see if I get some clear idea now. The rig components can have custom parameters. Yes, I know. Which can be set by the user via panel in meta rig bone properties. At pose mode, right? That appears when the matching rig type is selected. Yes, so this construction, we've checked that in Blender right before, in the inspecting some sort of Python UI. Python, I think, was the name of the file. Registration of the parameters and UI layout. Okay, design nodes is typical registration of class stuff, usually for the panel type category, right? Type of class of the parameters, and UI layout of the panel are implemented via special callbacks. I don't know what is via that. Maybe it's a specific to the feature sets, right? That rig add parameter params of parameters. Okay, clear. Class method. Okay, so apparently there's a class method special thing. It's looks like a function, right? call to allow, yeah, so maybe this callback, call to allow rigs to register their params via assigning BPY props, so properties, properties, okay, so it's like when you add a button, right? So Blender Python module properties definitions to attributes of parameter group. So yeah, I don't know why this this deviation, but it seems to be useful for the class of the panel, to relate the class of the panel with the rig type that we are like. Maybe this is because maybe I don't know, because when we assign the rig type to a bone on pose mode on a meta rig or a normal rig, well, the rig becomes a meta rig anyways, then it updates, auto updates the UI, and then it maybe needs to add these parameters in situ at the moment in real time. Like it's like the class is registered in like if you need to run a script from register a class at the moment, in the same moment you are, yeah, it's like our rigs share the same property group, so it's necessary to use descriptive property names to avoid conflicts. Okay, I don't know, it's the property group. Rigify will detect incompatible redefinition, okay, interesting, and print a warning to the console, very useful. And then rig parameters, but lack of example in here, the documentation, right? Rig parameters, so you can't really use this as tutorial, unfortunately. This is why they are not super super popular, maybe. Rig parameters UI. So I watch a lot of tutorials, often to learn, because they are difficult, but they help in some ways that the documentations often cannot. Demonstration and examples, yeah, very rich in examples and demonstrations. Sometimes less about explanations, right, and structure, a theoretical understanding, sometimes very poor, but often very poor, the tutorials, but sometimes that's where the documentation here shines, right? Concise theoretical explanations, right? Rig parameters, UI, layout firms, class method, cloud for from the panel's draw method to present the rig specific parameters. Okay, then this is the update of the panel, right? Rigs and parameter, class method call when a parameter is changed by the user. Okay, so is that all that is? Yeah, so interesting. This is well written, but could use some examples, right? Because I don't think the documentation will bring it. Right? I imagine even in those documentation, well, link to some example. Oh, I don't have example to write on your own. Not a problem. I have for rigging, for example, this. Yeah, this is a ton of work. But if, for example, if I have here, this is a clip, not a clip, but it's sort of a. There's a start and an end to this. No, not this case. Pick just one that is not the case. This one, for example. Yeah, so from this to here, this is a sort of clipped YouTube video presentation. We don't see when it is stopped, but it will stop in about 40 seconds from, and then this is clipped. We'll have an example of, you see, so. But it's very difficult to do this, time consuming, right, to do this with hundreds of video examples, but I did that. I keep doing this, but I don't have time now to be controlled. I will do with some scripting, Python scripting, programming, coding examples, yes, demonstrations and theoretical explanations for sure, but I need more time to do that. So I'm doing my own documentations, right? And I want to make perhaps a script this into similar of the other, but for scripting in Blender, focused on rigging and main theoretical understanding. So I would like that in those documentations we could use those things, right? But who does that, right? It's only me. That maybe that's dependent on individuals like me. So I personally just liked, oh, I have this example, can you put it this? Yeah, that will be the collaboration, right? Good collaboration, right? Because it takes already too much time to just have a good example, right? I'd like someone to contribute. This is where communities might be lacking more. Yeah, this sometimes requires some more direct contact. Yeah, so we'll see what maybe it can still happen. Rig parameters. What is this? Sorry, folks. Here I'm just trying to store bones names in rig bones. Since mode switch invalidate bone reference, only names can be stored between stages. Common convention store names of available rig bones separated by their parameters. Use decorates to group. I want to know if anything here relates again to rig types, but apparently that's the only thing that there's about it directly. And next and other stuff. Yeah, so you see, it's very insufficient to just get a glimpse of how that could be achieved. Get some very, very rough in my mind, right? It's still worth to investigate, and will certainly be revisable and studiable as I progress here with this idea, right? But yeah, it's not very tempting, because without Rigify, without feature set, I can already automate a full rig. Well, not the wave paint, but the drivers, the bone constraints, even object constraints. Now, even you name it, all those things through a base add-on. But we'll see. I really like to have this done with a feature set, if that's the case. Understand how to make those rig types, but it's beyond my skills. Apparently, there's just not enough accessibility. You need to be a pro to do that. So folks, sorry about all that, but yeah, I would like anyone to say what it takes, right? What does it take, right? And what is the way? But for me, that would mean like to get a feature set done, which should be the case. I was just thinking about meta rigs and rig types, maybe rig samples as well, but apparently no, it's all that, but plus actually feature set. You need to make a feature set like a cloud rig, right? According to the story of Rigify, historically there were some difficulties, because code can be very stiff, right? So if you come with an approach, then someone has a different coding approach, programming vision, and that is normal, right? It's like I have a vision, you have another vision, someone else have a different vision, ideology, ideary, whatever, political vision, and sometimes some things are more dialectical. Coding is not dialectical. Coding is stiff. So if you write something from scratch, well, to rebuild something from the base might be able to break everything. Let's say the logic of the software. So you can't just change a basal thing. If you change that, it might break everything. And so there are some things that are too inbuilt, and it's very hard to change because it will affect thousands and thousands of parts. You have to rethink. So that in this order is stiff. So the human mind can be very stiff, even more than the script sometimes. So this is like you have to rewire in some sense, right, the brain. So it's not, but scripting has this, right, programming. So and then when some of these approaches, they are not integratable, or someone would need, or one of the developers or the developer perspective might be, no, this cannot be integrated up here until that base cannot be integrated, but after that maybe we can integrate this and this if this can be adapted to our system. So this is what I think happened in Rigify, or might happen in Blender, in any software actually, right? But I think they've that happened. So many contributors to Rigify add-on, they couldn't get their stuff implemented because something that I don't understand, but I think it relates to these incompatibilities, right? And then maybe that something about the coding of the Rigify that remains was not so versatile, right? And that could be why it is so hard to get stuff, custom stuff, and maybe they don't want to change this, and yeah, something that exists for a long time. But in my opinion, my perspective, my point of view is just that, okay, good, the problem is that Rigify is inbuilt, and they are for free. There are no other options. So that's why I'm very concerned. And even the other automators, like ARP, they maybe are stiff. Also, there's really no much customization, right? They have their own presets. Maybe they are better in some ways than Rigify. Maybe they are worse in some other aspects. But it's still not what I'm looking for, right? So my wish were that the Rigify team were able to keeping or not keeping, but having the customizable system, right? That would be top tier for like Scratch, right? So that would lead ultimately for the rigging nodes, and maybe some other ideas of. Okay, folks. So for this, it's not world building today. So I've learned a lot, or some interesting steps here, but I don't know what will happen. So I think I should be focusing on learning more about the base scripting for rigging in Blender, independently of Rigify, and I keep studying this documentation, and over time I'll see if I can do something about those rig types, about those fit samples, meta rigs, well, especially the rig types and the feature set. Yeah, So, and that could be game changer if that leads me to somewhere, even if it takes time. But what will be the game changer, this I am already very confident about, is that with the scripting noobish level that I know now, I can make an add-on or a Python script that will generate, not with the Rigify generating and regenerating features, but I can create a skeleton from scratch with or making, after you get a skeleton, when you run the script, it will generate a whole rigged model. No, not rigged model, sorry. It will generate the whole rigged setup for that skeleton, for that armature object. And with drivers already set, every detail set of the skeleton. This is automation. This is completely crazy, and this is what worth some hours of maybe even days or weeks or a few months of learning. I've been learning scripting for Python Blend just for a few weeks from now, so, and I've learned like, wow, this is possible. So maybe more than 1 month, but not studying, just for the last couple of weeks or so, is that I've been like watching tutorials daily and practicing, and wow, this is super cool. Python is actually in Blender is super cool. So, but I think the Rigify will take more time. But without Rigify, this is a quest for this automated skeleton. You can start with smaller things, bone constraints, a couple of systems. Yeah, it takes time to build the positions and all that, but and learning what is really required for every property, everything, but it's perfectly feasible from what I've checked on this reference that I've mentioned, studying those reference that I've mentioned recent in this live stream sometime minutes ago, right? So folks, that's it. Sorry about the excessive chat. I hope this might be interested in someone. Anyways, for me this is super interesting because I started rigging. I had no idea about if I was ever capable of anything about scripting, but some guy friendly person in Rigger, I think, and in Blender forum, the community for Blender artist forum, told me that it's not that easy, that's not that hard to make the not Rigify, but it's not so hard to learn scripting for rigging in Blender. So even proposed to help me out, but he was too busy, and myself too. So, but he gave me that insight, that inspiration, like, and that then I started. Like he it's the spark, the initial spark, right? I had the powder. It was just requiring the spark, and then I'll mention his name. Don't remember right now, but I'll mention in another opportunity. And he just had to do that, and then I started. Let me learn that. So now we're in a road of getting even into Rigify, if it can be helped. So folks, that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a nice weekend. I'll be back then with less of those theoretical stupid things, and come back for the more creative stuff, which is actually world building. I think I only do this Pxy-STREAM that you see today, like once a week instead of twice, and because sometimes I just don't have anything to share that would take too much time. Maybe record a video or a highlight, whatever, or even some tutorial. It's hard. The communication online is difficult. Like, it's not It's not like in real life we meet people, right? So video conference also can help. It's like this linear, almost linear, unilinear communication is boring, right? It's not the same thing as real life connection with people. You get the idea. So that's can be very frustrating for the audience and for me too. So it's might not work too much, but at least we recorded this. Might help some people that are looking for information and some ideas in this. But probably this was super boring and very few watching, might not work much. But anyways, so yeah, folks, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe if you're interested in more. I'll try to go more into the creative things, and when we have results I'm gonna share about this scripting madness. See ya, folks, and happy blendering.